The camera can be attached to a smartphone using a free app called Mimo. This turns your phone into an Osmo Pocket controller and viewfinder. I really like using my phone with the Osmo Pocket, although it is not necessary. You can use the Osmo Pocket on its own. The first mode in the app is called Story. You pick different templates. They include things like a color grade and transitions. The next mode is PANO. Here you can shoot 3x3 or 180-degree photos. This is where the Osmo Pocket shoots multiple still images that are stitched together to make one very wide panoramic shot that a single picture could not capture. Here's a single shot. Here's a 180-degree panoramic. Here's a single shot. Here's a 3x3 panoramic shot. The next mode is Photo. This is where you take still images. You have manual controls for ISO and shutter. I recommend shooting the lowest ISO possible, determined by your lighting conditions. You can absolutely use high ISO speeds, but it will introduce some noise in the image, just like any other camera. You adjust ISO and shutter to get proper exposure. Proper exposure happens when the EV meter reads 0.0, the middle of the scale. Anything right of the middle has overexposed areas. Anything left of the middle on the meter has underexposed areas. Lowering your ISO can help fix overexposed images. Increasing the shutter speed also helps with overexposed images. Increasing your ISO helps with underexposed images. Lowering your shutter speed also helps with underexposed images to reach proper exposure. You can also switch to auto mode, where the camera adjusts for exposure on its own. If you click down here, you get Pro or Basic photo settings, like shooting JPEG images or JPEG and RAW images at the same time. RAW DNG images give you extra data to adjust pictures later in a program like Photoshop, which is quite useful. You can fix things like white balance and exposure. JPEG files have a look baked into the image that can't be modified as much after they've been shot, but they do take up less space on your SD card. You can choose the aspect ratio you want to shoot: 16:9, 4:3, or 3:2. You can adjust white balance to achieve proper color. You can turn on a grid to help you frame your shots. On the thirds, for example. The rule of thirds is the process of dividing an image into 9 equal parts with 2 equally spaced horizontal and 2 vertical lines. Important compositional elements should be placed along these lines or their intersections. It has a timer, the next mode is Video. You can pan and tilt the camera with this joystick. You can adjust the gimbal mode here. Fast follow is for following objects that are moving fast. Slow follow is for following slower moving objects. You can also choose follow, tilt locked, or FPV mode. In FPV mode, when you tilt the handle of the Pocket sideways, the camera will follow. In FPV mode, the 3 axes are not locked. In other modes, the horizon always stays flat. Tilt locked keeps your current up-down position regardless of your handle movements. In tilt locked mode, only the pan axis moves. Follow mode is the most frequently used mode that supports stabilization in 3 directions. The gimbal moves consistently with the handle to ensure stable and smooth footage. Here you can decide the resolution you want to shoot in, 1080 or 4K. You can also choose your frame rate, 24, 25, 30, 48, 50, or 60. And you have a fine or superfine quality setting. Superfine only works in some frame rates or resolutions. The difference between fine and superfine is very marginal in my opinion. Then we have video settings, MOV or MP4. Usually Mac people choose MOV and PC people choose MP4. You can adjust white balance as well. There are presets like sunny or cloudy, for example. Even a custom setting for dialing in a more specific color temperature. A proper white balance makes the color in your shot look natural. Whites look white. Color setting. You can pick either normal or cine-like. Cine-like is flatter, and you can add LUTs to it when color correcting later. Here's a LUT that I added called That Airy Look, which I like a lot. I'll leave links to some free LUTs in the description below this video. Video shot in normal mode has more contrast and color baked into the image. I use this option when I don't want to do a lot of color correcting later. Volume amplification mode is a way of controlling audio input levels. Noise reduction is for the audio on the Osmo Pocket. It helps reduce or eliminate wind noise, for example. Overexposed. You see a zebra pattern on parts of the image that are overexposed. Adjust your ISO or shutter speed until the overexposed areas go away. A histogram is another tool for exposing. It shows you the dark, mid, and bright information in your image. If the histogram leans too far to the left, your image is underexposed. If it leans too far to the right, it is overexposed or clipped. The histogram can be moved around the screen. Focus mode. You can pick AFC or AFS. AFC is autofocus continuous, and when you're in that mode, the Pocket keeps looking for a focus until it finds something it is happy with. AFS is autofocus single. You tap on the target on the screen and Osmo finds its focus. To lock focus, just hold your finger on the screen until you see the lock icon. To track an object, just draw a box around it and the camera will follow it. This play button allows you to view the clips and photos that you shot. The next mode is slow motion. It does crop the image, but allows you to shoot in 120 frames per second in 1080p. Click here and you can also format the SD card and check your firmware version. The next mode is time-lapse. Here you pick your interval, then your duration. You also have a path option, which allows you to program a camera move into your time-lapse video, which looks great. Thanks for watching this video. Please like and subscribe.